Bagby, one of my viewers, accused Britain of being a bit Tolkien-esque. This is after I accused Tennessee of being a bit like Narnia. To prove him wrong, I've come to Buckland in Berwickshire, which is modern-day Berkshire. And over there lived a man called Badger and another man called Baya. And his followers, perhaps he was one man just spelt differently. Well, let's call him one man. His followers were the Baggings. No wonder nobody takes us seriously anymore. This blue plant you can see behind me is chicory, and it's part of a herbal ley. And I've talked about leys before, so I won't bore you with them again. But this is left over. Well, I'll do a little bit of boring you. This is left with native plants that could be grazed or ploughed into the soil to improve fertility. Leave it for 2 or 3 years. The soil life will grow. You can fatten your beef on them. But as you can see, this has been left for a couple of years. So what's happened is that this is a mixture of perennials and annuals probably in this field. You wouldn't just put chicory in it. But at some point, probably last year, the farmer put an animal in it, like some beef or sheep or whatever. And they ate everything to the ground, and so the only thing that will survive through to this year is the perennials, which is the chicory, which is why you've got a nice blue field like this. But it sort of slightly defeats the object. It would be a bugger to clear that land now. So let's do some landscape archaeology. Before I move on to Buckland, I wanted to finish off with Charney. Now, I found there was a second charter that was called At Cern, which Grundy, the old man of anglo-saxon charters, tried to interpret as Charnton Bassey, but couldn't, and he admits it. But I saw a reference to somebody guessing it was in Pusey, next door to Charney Bassett, that charter applied to. And our hypothetical Cern stream does go through Pusey. Pusey means pea island, pea as in vegetable. In Old English. I'm sure that's not very conducive to somebody's dignity who lives there, but anyway. But it's over there, it's next to a wood. The charter, there's a whole load of things, a whole load of landmarks I can't interpret, but it starts at the Cern and then goes up a ditch, a few landmarks, and it comes to a Hieropod. And the next reference is to a Hieropodes, so that's the genitive form. So yeah, it's Hieropatha, our old friend Hieropatha, which means highway or army path. It originally meant army path, but became highway, as in high, up here. And that is in fact a ridgeway across there. Not exactly on the A420. It comes off it, and it gets quite I'm worried about misleading anybody. The Charter of Appleton further on talks about this road. Anyway, so let's talk about the ancient roads in this area. So we're west of Oxford, across the river into Berkshire. It's not called Berkshire anymore, it's called Oxfordshire, but that's just an aberration. We have two interesting hypothetical Roman roads that lead across this land. One is very easy to see, and it's in the hedgerows, and is now a national, now it is now a public footpath. And then it veers off south to Wantage. I didn't think Wantage or Oxford were Roman, but they are. That's clear as day as being a Roman road, but we have. It's not just the evidence of Romanised that's given us that data. Those of us who look at the Anglo-Saxon charters can also see it's a Roman road because it's called a stræte, which means a strata, which means Roman road. And that's in the Charter of Oxnaforda, and I've done a video of that before. That's quite clear as a Roman road goes through it, and we can trace it. Just next door in Appleton, we also have a strata, and it would be natural to think these two on the south of the boundary as well, which it would be natural to think these two strata are the same, but I can't make it fit. And it does seem to fit a ridgeway, a road that runs across the highest land in the area to avoid getting your feet wet, which must have been prehistoric, because it seems to be, well, according to the charter, it's called a strata, which means it was Romanised, that Romans came along and paved it. And it's not a straight road at all, and it keeps the highest land in a way that is both prehistoric and medieval. I think it's a mistake. I think it was a mistake on the Anglo-Saxon scribes' charter. But who am I to say? Grundy thinks it is a Roman road. But that road comes here. It comes to Buckland, and it is mentioned in the Pusey, which Pusey is just down there. It's mentioned in the Pusey charter that there is a path that goes north of the Cern, and yes, it does, and that's very nice to see. Now, these two ancient paths are intriguing and enigmatic and tantalising, and I can't find any more information on it. I think the Hera path there is also called the Broadway in the Charter of Buckland. I think it's called the Portway in other charters further along to the east. But it's such a complicated situation with all this loads and loads of charters. It's cross-referencing them and actually making sense of them is quite hard to do. I think Grundy made a good effort, but I don't think it's conclusive. I don't think it's really that tied down.